Good evening, everybody. My name is Sean Carlson from Blackjack 98 Enterprises. Today is Sunday, July 31st of 2022. What I am doing is I am greasing the axle on my ubilt trailer, which was built in 1986. So, without further ado, let's get to it. This here part is the passenger side. And if you look, there's the tongue. See the tongue? And that's the rear end. When you flip this over, it is on the passenger side. So I already got it apart. I took the wheel off, I took this off, and I put those internal components on just so you can all have an idea of what everything is supposed to look like. So this tire here, it's a 4-bolt tire. There's markings on there. They're right there. Can't really read them because of the grease that's on them. The bolts are right there. I can't remember if they were 3/4 or what the fuck ever, but they go into this part here. In order to get that tire off, this here grease nipple needs to come off. And it comes off probably a lot harder than I'm making it look right here. Everything is cleaned just so you guys can have a better view of what it's supposed to look like. Once that tire comes off, you need to pop this part off here, and it doesn't come off like that, and it doesn't exactly look this clean. I cleaned everything out like I just said, but this one here looks kind of ratty. Like if I look at the condition of it as I spin it around, you can see it's dented, dinged up. Somebody had a hell of a time getting this off, and they probably pretty much put a flathead screwdriver in there just to freaking pry it off to do exactly what it is that I just did. But if you look inside of this, this is usually full of grease. Okay? We're looking inside. Woo, ah, ooh, ah. This is the cap that goes on that. So, putting that right there. Now, let's look at this. This part actually comes off, but in order to take this off, this nut right here is going to be on there, and it cannot turn anywhere because of this pin. This pin needs to be removed. Like that. Put it right there. And then this can come off. Just like that. See? Once you get this off, put it right there, this bearing and this will come off at the same time. So this will be stuck inside of here. So when you pull everything off, this comes out like that. There's a whole bunch of gook. And it literally fits into there just like that. And you're going to have to take your finger, put it in there, and pull this out. Like I said, there is going to be a lot of gunk in there. Now, on the back of this, on the back, you're going to have a different arrangement. You're going to have this here part, which is over top. It goes in like that. And that bearing, this bearing here, will be into there, goes all the way into there, and this one is on top, like that. That's what keeps the bearing in there, right? You need to drive it out from this side. You gotta stick something in there and go bang, 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 but don't use metal. Use something like wood or something to bang it out, otherwise you're just gonna screw the hell out of it if you use a metal something. Now, these are the parts that are in there. This bearing, like I said, has to go on there a specific way, just like this one does. So let's take a look at this arrangement here. How these go on. Okay. This is how they're supposed to look. They're both exactly the same type of bearing. This goes against that. As you can see, there's a little groove that this goes onto there. Okay. Now, when this wheel turns, this is supposed to be nice and lubricated, which is what the grease does that you just see at the grease nipple. It fills an entire void around here, and if you put enough grease into it, it'll get into the gears and cause everything to be nice and loose. And now, one of the problems that you might expect from bearings and axles is the wear between where the bearing sits. So what I'm talking about is this space right here. You see this right here? There's going to be a lot of wear on there if there is any. That's what you would look for. Scoring, damage, unlevelness. You could take a ruler, put it straight across in there. I did not do that because I don't have a ruler. Actually, I do. But you can actually check it by putting the bearing there and wiggling it back and forth. This one just has play in it because of the top part of the bearing. But if you look on the inside of the bearing, and I was to move it like this way, it hardly does that at all. I can't even go up and down. I can't really see that movement up and down when I go up like that. But yeah, it's nice and solid. This is a nice solid bearing right there. And to check the other one, you make sure everything is nice and clean. You can't do this if it's dirty. You need to do the same thing. Up and down movements, go back and forth. This here is a tight bearing. So these two bearings are good. After inspecting them and cleaning them, they're fine. But the surface that this part here rotates is in this. So let's take a look at this. So in there is a tapered edge, like on both sides. There's one right here, and there's another one into there. You see that? So you got to look at those to make sure there is no scoring of any sort. And it looks to me this is fine. What is that I'm seeing right there? That's just grease. Yeah, that's just grease. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Looking at it, should be a nice smooth looking surface. Yes, cool. And like I said, when you look inside there, that's between this side and this side of the bearing is full of gook, gunk, grease. This is the grease nipple hole. All the grease goes into there and lubricates everything up nicely. Okay? So, let's take these off, put them aside. Okay. Everything on here seems to look fine. It looks like it's a little bit corroded right there, but there's nothing that sits on here from what I can see. So, this looks fine. There's no major damage on it. This is fine. The bolt goes on and off nicely. I took WD-40 and sprayed the hell out of everything and cleaned it up into this garbage can right here. So you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna assume that this axle, this part of the side of the axle is fine. After doing this side, I'm gonna do that side. Never assume that just because this side is okay, that side will be okay too, because that is not the case. So, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This will be all for this video that I am creating for you. If you have any inputs, any negative comments, anything bad that you would like to say to me and how stupid I am because I'm not a mechanic, I'm a scaffolder, I have a few words for you. I'm not going to say them. I just wanted to make this video for everybody else who wanted to do something like this on their own and what to look for. Here you go. That's it. Have a good day. So for everybody else who wanted to do something like this on their own and what to look for. Here you go. That's it. Have a good day. All right, everybody. We have the other side. The tongue is over there. I turned it around. I took everything apart. I cleaned everything up for everybody to see. And I found some particular issues. This time this one is a bit different. Remember I was saying, just because one side is fine doesn't mean the other side will be. This one is the exception. I don't know if you can see when the camera goes back into focus. I don't know if it's going into focus. Focus. But This right here is a bit worn, as you can see, compared to this side where it is right there. Now, this here is where the grease is, but you can see that little break, and this is what the bearing goes against. That bearing is this one here. When you look at it, at this angle anyways, you can see half of it is shiny and the other half is not. In fact, I don't even know if you can see it too well. Let me try a bit better, but yeah. All you have to do is just take your finger, go inside all the bearings, and if you can find some roughness, then there is something wrong. This one, like I said, is shiny. It still works, but we're going to put it on there just so you see how it goes. Okay. It gets stuck right around there. Not supposed to get stuck right around there, but it does. It's really tight. So it hits against that, which means it is wearing somehow against that. And it's wearing a lot on the very end right here. Now when we look at the back of it, we see some little bit of wear. You see that? It would be the same thing for the other bearing too. This is the part that the nut is against. And this bearing looks fine on the inside. I already wouldn't give it a scoop with my finger. There's no rough edges or anything like that. But the nut goes against this bearing. And the seal here for the inner side, which is on this side right here, goes against that. There's nothing on here. And this goes onto there like that, and it fits just like that, eh? Or unless I got it wrong. Yeah, but yeah, this goes inside. So it goes inside like that. And that's how it looks, right? So the rubber part, there is nothing wrong with it. Oh, crap. Now the cap. Cap is something special. People have a hard time getting the son of a bitchin' cap off, I guess, and they just go and damage the hell out of it. It's just got cracks. And so when I put the grease in, grease seeps through the outside here. It's not really supposed to do that. You're not really supposed to do that. But as you can tell, this is damaged all the hell from people who just don't know how to take these off the right way. And when you take this off, it's all full of grease and gunk. So you can see there's holes and stuff in there from people just shearing that off. Now, the actual axle here, let's look at that. Right here, you take your finger and put it on that. Go all the way around, and you can tell by your finger if there's any scratches or anything. And as you can tell on this one, it looks pretty good. This is the side facing out. This here, this is the side facing in. There's no damage, regardless of what you're seeing over there. There is nothing on there that indicates that it's damaged in any way. Okay, so what we're going to do is just going to put this back together. I got this on there. Flushed everything all out. It looks good to me as far as I can tell. There's this outside edge here, there's no rough edges on it, even on the inside. So we're going to put it all back together. And we're going to use grease to fill it, and then we're going to give it a roll and a shake, and then that's it. So that is completely it now for this video of the axle. And if you're looking at the rough paint job, yeah, I bought this used. Somebody before me. Like I said, this is a 1986 model. Several people probably have owned this. This probably came from Alberta. I do not know, but it was registered in Alberta. And like I said, in 1986, somebody went and did all this. It's flaky. This will be a tomorrow job. If Tomorrow Never Comes by Garth Brooks. So, and that will be that. Thank you all for watching. Okay, so there's more that I want to do. I got the entire wheel back on. So this one is put back together, and that one is put back together. And I just noticed something here when I turned the wheel. I still have yet to put grease into the nipple here, which I still have to put on, which I will. I want to show everybody, if you can hear it, what a non-greased axle sounds like. Now, this is the side that I said had that questionable thing on the back, right? So once this nut inside here is nice and tight to the point that you can get the pin in comfortably, and these are tight, you can see that this moves just a little bit. It's probably not supposed to move at all, but the reason why is because of that nut that is in there and that pin. Sometimes the nut will be a little bit loose with that pin that goes through there to prevent it coming out, right? Then this goes out. So I'm going to turn this. Which way does the highway go? That's the tongue. Road is going this way. Tires go this way. Okay, so that's what it sounds like with no grease and that questionable bearing. Now we're going to do the other side. The other side is greased. And everything is nice and tight. This is not wobbling at all. That nut is in there. Once again, the front road is going this way. Tire turns this way too. So here we go. Hear that? No sound. Can't really hear it. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pump this full of grease, and then we're going to do another video just to see how it sounds. Hopefully it's a lot more quieter. Okay, so we got some grease in there. Because of the people beating on this, there's some stuff seeping out right there. There's also some stuff seeping out right there. So that tells you when it's full. But just because it's full, just because it's seeping does not mean it's completely full. You still got to get the grease working. So here we go. You can still hear it a little bit, eh? So when I put my hands on a tire, I can feel the grinding that's happening with the axle. So the bearing is wearing on that axle, which is why it was shiny when we cleaned it. I don't think any amount of grease that is going inside this axle is going to help it. But when I wiggle this tire, it's not really that any different than that one, because this one wiggles the same much as that one. And it has to do with that stupid nut in there and that pin. It does allow just a little bit of play, which is what this is. But It's not really supposed to sound like that. When you go to this side, this is technically what it's supposed to sound like. There's no grinding. Okay, so that will be all. If I was to think about what it is that I'm going to do about the axle as far as safety is concerned, I'm pretty sure this is replaceable. What I also could do is I could replace the entire friggin' axle with the bearings and shit. And then I can get pissed and drink a whole bunch of rum. Fuck, sounds like a very good idea. Right now, this axle is something to consider further down the road, literally. I don't see this being too much of a bad issue. This might work for another 1,000 kilometers, if that. I am not a professional, I cannot tell you, but for those of you professionals out there that are watching this video, you might be able to tell me. When I think about replacing this axle, it looks like I just gotta undo this. Same thing on the other side. Pop this out, get another one, put it in, put this back on, brand new one, put this one on, brand new one, and on that one too, and then that would be that. So, you know, that's an option. Until then, I think that I'm done. This it's been a good project for me to work on. And hope you all enjoyed this video. So that will be all as far as greasing this axle and the parts with the tires. Thank you. My name is Sean Carlson. Have a good night.